Today we're doing a demonstration and a test of the alternator in the Delica L400. This is for the V6, although I imagine it's very similar for the diesel as well. So these alternators, the main frame of the alternator is the ground. This is going to just bolt directly onto the engine, which will be grounded back to the frame of the vehicle. And the main power generated comes out of this 8mm bolt back here. And the vehicle that feeds back through a long chain to the fuses that distribute power to the vehicle, and of course back to your starter battery as well. And then we have a 2-pin connector right on the back of the alternator, which is used for starting up the alternator. Because alternators, as it turns out, they need power. They need an external source of power before they can begin to generate electricity for the vehicle. So this is provided on the white wire, and feedback for the voltage regulator, usually measured at the starter battery, is brought back on the red wire. On the vehicle itself, this alternator startup power that we see powering this red LED, this is provided through the bulb on your dash, which it has the little battery indicator. So when you first turn on the key, you will see a little battery indicator glowing in the upper left corner of your dash display. And this is actually providing power to the alternator. Once the alternator begins generating current, then there's no longer any draw through that bulb, and the bulb will turn off. If this bulb burns out, then there's an alternative redundant path to power the alternator, and this is through what's called the alternator relay on the fuse box under the hood. It's right at the very back, and this is a small diode / resistor which runs in parallel, and this will also fire up your alternator. I've confirmed that as the voltage increases on the battery, once we reach 14.5 volts or so, the alternator will generate less power. And now I'm just going to fire up this alternator. I've got a big impact driver in drill mode, and I'll just start turning over the alternator. The LED is still showing some current being consumed along this path, but there doesn't seem to be too much going on. And we can easily see the current just by measuring. Just zero that out. And there we are. This alternator seems to work. A few other notes about these alternators. A really common failure mode is that the main diodes, which rectify the AC voltage inside into DC, those are back here. Once these overheat, they will begin pulling power from the battery, and this will overheat the alternator, potentially even lighting it on fire. So that's one failure mode of these that I've seen. This is caused by overheating, either by excessive current draw or insufficient air cooling. The other common failure mode is that the brushes, which are distributing power to the rotor, these brushes will eventually wear out. And at that point, I would expect to see that the light on your dash will stay lit even when the engine is running and the alternator is turning. One of the things with these Delicas that come from Japan is that just because they may be low kilometers, they may have spent most of their life idling in traffic, so they can be high hour and low kilometer at the same time. I hope that's useful to somebody.